Hey guys, what's going on? James here, and today's video is run by you because I'm going to be taking a look at some of the questions that you guys gave me talking about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and this offseason. So without further ado, guys, let's get into it. There are three topics that I want to cover based on the questions that you guys asked me, and it is the Buccaneers safety position, specifically who is going to be starting, the Buccaneers offensive line, and kind of the big mystery of what's going on with it during this offseason, as well as the Buccaneers quarterback situation, not just with Jameis Winston and how he's been progressing, but also the backup quarterback situation as well. So let's get started talking about the Buccaneers safety position. Now, guys like Redstone Jack, Peter Finn, Dustin Blinn, and Nathan Bennett all asked the question of who is basically going to be a starting safety for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, both at free safety and at strong safety. Now, I know guys like Redstone Jack, Peter Finn, Dustin Blinn, they all speculated as to whether or not Jordan Whitehead could start right away, and then Nathan Bennett also speculated as to whether or not Mike Edwards could start right away. And guys, this is probably, I'm pretty sure, I'm pretty confident when I say this, that this is going to be the most intense positional battle that the Buccaneers are going to have in training camp this offseason, hands down, because there are so many former draft picks and just overall productive players that the Buccaneers have at that position group right now that it's really anybody's guess right now as to who is going to be the starting free safety and the starting strong safety. Just think about it. You have Justin Evans, who has been a starter for the Buccaneers for the past couple of years, but he's kind of dealing with a heel injury right now, which shouldn't hamper him for any time during the training camp, but has still kind of led to an opportunity for other younger guys to step up and kind of make plays here and there. Jordan Whitehead, for example, last year he had a very, very productive season as a rookie. I believe it was it Dustin Blinn? Dustin Blinn said that Whitehead was second in tackles last year. Now, I haven't fact-checked that, but I do take Dustin Blinn's word on it for now. But if that's true, then he obviously had a very productive year for the Buccaneers last year, and he's looking to continue with that momentum and possibly get a starting safety job this year. So you got to also factor in that. He's a former 4th-round draft pick. Justin Evans is a former 2nd-round draft pick. MJ Stewart, he's a former 2nd-round draft pick in his own right. He's making the transition from cornerback to safety, although he has played safety before, so it should be a pretty seamless transition. And then you got to factor in Mike Edwards, who is a former 3rd-round draft pick. He was literally just drafted a few weeks ago during the Buccaneers' recent NFL draft. So you have a former 3rd-round draft pick, a former 4th-round draft pick, and 2 former 2nd-round draft picks all trying to battle for a starting safety job. There's only 2 of them, and you also got to factor in a guy like Isaiah Johnson, who, yes, you know, he has had some pretty interesting and some pretty decent play, not just at the safety position, but on special teams as well. So maybe he could make some noise. Maybe there could be a lot of shuffling around of guys at certain positions and whatnot. So really, it's anybody's guess as to who is going to be a starting safety right now. You would figure that Justin Evans and Jordan Whitehead might be the favorites right now, all things considered, considering that they have had the most recent success as starting safeties for this team. But like I said, we're going to have to really wait and see going into training camp, because that is going to be one hell of a positional battle. Next, I want to talk about the Buccaneers offensive line. Now, brutal as Bucs, Ty Will, Ryan Roddy, and Buck Rogers II. That's a pretty cool name. All of you guys asked questions about the Buccaneers offensive line and how is it doing, because basically there has not been a lot reported about the Buccaneers offensive line, aside from the fact that, you know, Ali Marpet is missing a practice or two with a very, very, very small injury, and maybe Ryan Jensen sat out practice because he might have had a small injury as well. Maybe it wasn't injuries, maybe it was, you know, just taking a personal day, or maybe they were on personal leave or something like that. But the point is that, you know, a guy's missed a practice here, a guy's missed a practice here, and we really don't know what's going on with the Buccaneers starting offensive line, because as it stands right now, we've had a lot of rotational type of guys like maybe Earl Wofford has had to come in and play starting guard, guys like Mike Lidke have had to come in and play some starting reps for the Buccaneers offensive line right now. So basically, what's happening with this offensive line? And I think the most important thing to take away from the Bucs offensive line right now is that really all they need to do is just stay healthy, and the gelling and the chemistry is pretty much already there. Just think about it, you know, I don't think that the Buccaneers are in a situation where this offensive line hasn't worked together before, because you have Donovan Smith, who's a returning multiple-year starter for this team, Ali Marpet, who is literally in the same position as Donovan Smith. They were drafted together, for goodness sakes. Ryan Jensen, who is coming off of his first year with the team, he's a returning starter. The right guard position is a little bit more interesting, because I think that you could either say that Alex Kappa or Oral Watford is going to be a starter there. We're just going to have to wait and see. That's another position battle to keep an eye on during training camp. And then you have DeMar Dotson, who is a multiple-year starter who is returning to the team as well for his, like, I think 10th season. So the point is that these guys have all played together for at least a year or more now. So really, the chemistry is already there. These guys just need to stay healthy and figure out what's going on with that right guard position, and things should overall improve. Last year, there were some concerns involving injuries with the Buccaneers offensive line. A guy missed a game here, a guy missed a game there, and it really affected things because you had to have a lot of rotating pieces on the offensive line, and that can definitely affect your chemistry. So as long as this line stays healthy, and as long as they work with guys like Bruce Arians, Byron Leftwich, and Harold Goodwin, things should really improve for this offensive line because, you know, the big thing with offensive lines in the NFL is basically the more you play together, the more chemistry you have together, and just overall the better the offensive line grows together. So I think that that's kind of the key to this offensive line getting better for this upcoming season, is just building on the chemistry, working with this new set of coaches who have had, you know, a very impressive track record working with offensive lines, and just overall gelling as a unit. And I think that they've already done a very, very, very good job of doing that for sure. Finally, guys, the last topic that I want to talk about is the Buccaneers quarterback situation. Now, no need to worry, Jameis Winston is your starting quarterback, but there were certain questions about how is Jameis Winston progressing as a quarterback, as well as the Buccaneers backup quarterback situation. Guys like Buck Rogers II and Tobias Watkins both asked the question of how is Jameis Winston progressing as a quarterback? Will he, is this a make or break season for Jameis Winston? What's going to happen? And, guys, honestly, I think that Jameis Winston is coming along very well in my own personal opinion based on what I've seen been reported and just the quotes that I've seen from Bruce Arians, Byron Leftwich, and everybody else talking about the work ethic and just the overall play of Jameis Winston so far. I think that he's progressing along well. He's obviously working his way into a new offense, which does take time. It's not going to happen overnight, but we all know Jameis Winston at this point. He is going to work hard. He is going to try his best to learn the offense and really master it and be the best Jameis Winston that he can be. So I think that he's going to have a good season. I do honestly believe he has a very good chance to earn a second contract with this team. He reminds me a lot of Matthew Stafford when his career started, and he ended up getting a second contract with the Detroit Lions. So I think personally that Jameis Winston has a very good chance to get a second contract with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So I think that he's progressing well. Relating to the backup quarterback situation, specifically Ryan Griffin versus Blaine Gabbert, that one is a definitely interesting situation because a lot of people have asked, does Bruce Arians carry 3 quarterbacks? What's going to happen considering that Ryan Griffin signed that 2-year contract extension with the Buccaneers? What's going to happen? And basically, Bruce Arians said, I believe during the league meetings a couple of months ago when they had just signed Blaine Gabbert, and when I made the video talking about it, he had said that you would like to think it's a quarterback competition right now for the backup spot, but it's probably not. It's probably going to be going to Blaine Gabbert. Now, I'm paraphrasing the hell out of what Bruce Arians said. If you guys want to go see his exact quotes, go look them up or go watch my video talking about it. But again, right now it's probably Blaine Gabbert's backup quarterback job. So the main question is are the Buccaneers going to be carrying 3 quarterbacks? And that's definitely up in the air right now. I think it overall just depends on how the quarterback position's health is, because I checked, and the times that Bruce Arians did carry 3 quarterbacks on his roster were only when injuries happened to both the starter and the backup quarterback as well. So unless Jameis Winston, God forbid, or Blaine Gabbert, God forbid, get injured, I really don't know what's going to happen with Ryan Griffin, whether or not he stays on the roster or he goes to a different team. Maybe he gets traded to a team that wants to use him as the main backup quarterback. Again, that's just going to have to be something that's really up to Bruce Arians and Jason Licht. Bruce Arians has been very public with his support of a guy like Ryan Griffin and Blaine Gabbert. So, again, this is something that, we're just going to have to wait and see with Bruce Arians and with Jason Licht and just see if they want to carry 3 quarterbacks. So, I think that it is Blaine Gabbert's job right now for the backup quarterback position, and I think that Jameis Winston's doing very well as the starting quarterback. So really, Ryan Griffin is going to have to do a lot to kind of gain traction and really work his way into that backup quarterback spot. Guys, that's pretty much it for all of the questions here. I know that I missed a ton of questions talking about the undrafted free agents and who my favorite undrafted free agents are and stuff like that, and I do apologize for that, as well as certain questions about the defensive line, the cornerback position, and whatnot. I will continue to do these types of videos answering questions from you guys, so if you have any questions, again, leave them down in the comment section below, and I will try and form some of the content that I'm doing here leading up to the Buccaneers training camp around the questions that you guys asked. But again, thank you guys so much for what you contribute to the channel and to the community that we have built here. I will see you in the next video, in the next live stream, but until then, and as always, goodbye for now, guys, and go Bucs.